Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast, here every Tuesday and Friday, but not this week. We are here today, tomorrow, and again on Sunday. I am Luke Owen, DAD. I'm joined by Dan, the Truth, the Professor Layton. Hello, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. For goodness sake, please do press that subscribe button. Go over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave comments, reviews, ratings, whatever you have to do on those podcast feeds to get us noticed. And insert QR code joke here.
Oh, that was a really good one.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're not run dry.
Well, do you know what? Actually, where's my phone? Someone did send me one.
I had a joke. I could have just used it. Never mind.
It's all right. Hold on. I'll farm this one out.
It was going to be another one where I'm like, I was looking inside a well and the well had run dry. At the bottom was a QR code. That's the joke.
Lewis messaged me to say, "Hi Luke, I was surfing the internet wrestling landscape and I came across a video of the Royal Rumble stage in Saudi Arabia. They were testing entrance music like they usually do ahead of shows when I heard something I wasn't familiar with. I thought to myself, that wasn't unusual as most wrestlers' music is completely unrecognizable these days. However, when I began to decipher what I was hearing, I realized it was Morse code hidden into a badly produced Def Rebel song. The code translated to support WrestleTalk and was repeated over and over. I was so inspired that it led me to the podcast. I'll always be a fan of the QR innovation. This was truly spectacular."
Good. This bit is.
Do you want to keep it? No, we can let. Hold
no,
on.
I'm on the side of the anti-QR people now.
I just want to let that hold.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate you getting in touch with me. I thought it was a funny joke.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, please do leave a comment down below with your thoughts on Raw today if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to it on Spotify. Apple Podcast does not have that feature. Maybe put it in your review.
Sure.
Leave a 5-star and what your thoughts of Raw this week were.
Yeah.
We are going to open this week talking about Finn Balor because I feel like that has become the biggest talking point coming out of this show and it follows on from what we were talking about last week.
Yeah,
which
ye of little faith.
No.
I might say.
I actually said I hope I'm wrong.
Well,
many times over. I said I've got no faith. I hope I am wrong, but I do have no faith. Little finger up. Yeah.
Hi. You can't just say something and then say I hope I'm wrong and then be like, well, I did say I was, like, you can't just assert something and then be proven wrong and then be like, well, at least I wanted to be proven wrong. Take the L. That's two. You're 0 for 2 this year.
You very much can do that.
Nah.
Because my point was, I have little faith in them following through with this because they've got a proven track record. Not just WWE, but wrestling as a whole has a proven track record of stop-start pushes, and I have no faith in this. But I do hope that I am wrong because I would like to see something out of Finn Balor. So I was thrilled that he had something to do on this episode.
That's
a perfectly valid point to take.
I've got my little tally over here of things that Luke has confidently asserted. And
I know. I didn't confidently assert it. I did not confidently assert it. This is where you are categorically wrong. I did not. I said I didn't say they will not follow up on this. I said I have little faith that they will follow up on this. 2 very different points.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you learn that in your master's degree?
No, I didn't, because I was being taught how to make a shape of a tree. Yeah. But what I did learn is that I'm dead right to trust in the belief, the faith in the prince. Finn Balor. I'm just so emotional with the fact that I'm right because last week, although
if you huff enough copium, eventually the high will be right.
A broken clock is coping twice a day. This is interesting, isn't it? They're like.
Well, it's the thing. People have been actually quite upset about this because last week was Balor had this awesome main event with CM Punk, and it really did feel like sort of not a coming out party for Finn Balor. He's been on the main roster for
a homecoming,
10 years.
A remembrance.
Yeah, a member berries match for him because he came out to his old NXT music. He very much had an NXT vibe about him. He felt rejuvenated, and after the match, they shook hands, and everyone was like, "That was awesome." And it really made me nostalgic for that 2015, 2016 Finn Balor. It'd be really awesome if we could get back to there. I really hope that WWE can follow through on this. And then on this week's show, AJ Styles opened the show and he talked about how this might be his last time on Monday Night Raw this coming Saturday. It's his potential retirement match with Gunther. But, 2026 is, I want it to be the year of AJ Styles. Like 2025 was the year of CM Punk. I want 2026 to be the year of AJ Styles. And within that, I want to win a world title. So out comes CM Punk. I loved this segment so much.
Yeah.
Because this was a hot crowd. Considering how cold it is in Canada right now, this was a hot crowd.
Loved that.
Thank you.
Very nice little bit of weather comedy.
Nearly 16,000 people in the Scotiabank Arena, I'm going to guess, for Monday Night Raw. 16,000 people.
I did think that. And also there was something about the way a lot of them were standing, especially, made it feel like they were packed in. Whenever I look at old footage of like Attitude Era stuff, it does feel like everyone is packed in and clamoring to get there. And then there's a period of time where everyone is sort of like respectfully seated. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Quite quiet.
Exactly, because those are the people who are just like, well, WWE's in town and I've always gone to WWE shows. I guess I'll go.
Yeah.
But here it's like, no, I have to go. It's in town. I have to go to this show. And it's such a fascinating thing because we've been talking about for the last year or so, the price ticket increases for WWE, feeling like they've priced people out. But people are still willing to pay these prices because it is the hot ticket in town.
I'd love to go. I just can't afford it. Like, and if you can afford it and you'd love to go, you go. And that's, you know, the dynamic of it all.
Yeah, I thought it was an awesome crowd. But the thing I loved about this crowd and this segment in particular was for about 5 minutes, AJ and CM Punk just did a back and forth about, well, what might you be suggesting, Mr. Punk?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Styles, there could be something we could do about this, but what could that be, Mr. Punk?
Wasn't Punk's very first line like, you know where this is going, don't you? Yeah,
exactly. It was almost a signal to the crowd.
Yeah.
And each time they did it, the crowd got hotter and hotter and hotter because they were like, just say the thing, say the line, Bart, while they were waiting for them to announce that the main event tonight will be CM Punk versus AJ Styles for the world title. I thought it was wonderful.
It was really fun. It was that thing of, it didn't really matter the material of what they were saying, although I did find what AJ said kind of interesting. And actually, did you think, yes or no, did you think that there was going to be a clean finish in this match? When it was announced.
I did, actually. I thought I was certainly hoping for it.
Interesting. Yeah. I didn't. I thought there was going to be I basically thought everything. I hedged my bets. I thought everything was going to happen, but I didn't think there was going to be a clean finish in this match. And as a result of it happening, I was like, all of this is making me listen to what AJ's saying, think about, you know, for those who haven't seen it, the Shinsuke Nakamura Instagram post, there's WrestleTalk News, you can go and have a look at that. Thinking about the idea of his contract being up in February. What I've thought all weekend really about what like AJ wants versus what the company wants versus what the fans want, and how that's a weird little triangle, and how sometimes, you know, they don't overlap, and what do you do in that scenario? I truly have no idea what's going to happen on Sunday.
Neither. No.
Or Saturday rather, which I really like, and this sort of added to that, because what you've got here is an unfinished story. I thought, you're like, well, are they going to give him the belt tonight? Are they going to have him lose before he maybe loses again? Are they? He said he's got people in loads of promotions he wants to wrestle. Is he signaling that maybe he'll retire from here and do a brief stint in TNA and maybe go even and do a match or two in AEW? And when he's talked about retiring and his last contract is going to be in WWE, like maybe he just won't sign a contract, but he'll sign a couple of appearance deals or whatever. Like, I was like, I'm fascinated by all of this.
Yeah, me too, because like the reports are he's truly happy with his WWE run. He's truly happy being within WWE. Like, he love being there, and he feels like he's had a great run within that company, quite rightly so, I would argue.
How could you not be happy with your run is what I mean, rather than how could you not be happy in WWE? Yeah. I'm sure lots of people...
Well, absolutely, and I totally understood that. And it's, you know, this idea of, I'm going to end my time here. Like, this is my last contract, and my time is now, and I'm gonna it's up, and I'm gonna end it in WWE. He did say in this promo though, like, this is the end, like it could be the end of my time in WWE, which is again sparking that idea of like, well, maybe he'll go to TNA. We've got a couple of comments about that later when we get into the Patreon feedback. And I also have been thinking a lot about this because I don't know. Like last week, you and I were talking about, I was like, it doesn't feel like it's right. Like it feels like it's was come out of the blue. I'm just not ready for it yet as a fan. And then when they had the match on Saturday against Shinsuke Nakamura, that obviously just got announced out of the blue on SmackDown. That match felt like a retirement match. You know, but like it's celebrating 10 years since their penultimate match in New Japan, WWE, not their final match in WWE, which I understand you can't say because the final match includes Kenny Omega, and you don't want people going to look that up. But the penultimate match they had in New Japan, that felt like a line in, like that was it, an underlining, you know, full stop. We're going to end this. And then Nakamura's post was put up and he deleted it. And then that's made people think, like, is it a ruse? Was it a planted thing to throw fans off the scent? And I truly don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. And when we do our predictions video, which is going to be recording after this, released tomorrow, I think I will decide in the moment. where I actually land. And even when I say whichever name comes out of my mouth, I'm not 100% confident on anything.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
It's great. And I've got the same with the Rumble.
Yeah.
Part of that I feel like was because they've done no build for the Rumble.
A little bit.
But like I've got like some ideas, but I've got no confident ideas of who I think is going to win the Royal Rumble. So it sets up our main event of AJ Styles versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. Like you said earlier, like I thought this was going to have a clean finish because of the Nakamura thing. I was like, this is just another one of those full stops on the end of the road for AJ Styles. We haven't done this singles match in WWE, so let's just do this one now. These two haven't had a match together in like 20 odd years, so let's do this one now on his road out. So I think where the fan frustration comes in is like it was a good match.
It was fine.
It was fine. Like I don't think it was blow. It certainly wasn't as good as the Balor match last week.
It wasn't as good as either of these two wrestlers' matches in the last week.
No, I would completely agree.
It wasn't
with
as
that,
good as AJ Shinsuke. It wasn't as good as Punk's Finn. But it was not.
Like it was fine. I enjoyed it.
It was a Raw main event.
Yeah, it was a classic main event.
Yeah.
Like they wrestled a main event style, and they did kickouts of big moves and stuff. Like the crowd felt like they were a little bit burnt out as well because Punk did a GTS and no one reacted to it.
The thing I kept thinking about it was in comparison to, and I don't know whether it's just because of who we are as like, on this end of the pond or whatever, but all I could think about was, wow, this crowd aren't as into this as the Irish crowd were last week.
But they were into the Alpha Academy.
Right, and they were into it at the start of the night. So like they must be knackered, or they're just like, or they don't believe that this is going to require them to get that hot yet. I don't know.
Maybe people saw the
Mick
DQ
Foley,
coming. I did not see the DQ coming.
Right, interesting, because I kind of thought, I assumed it might be Gunther. I didn't see it coming from who it came from.
Yeah.
I assumed it maybe even be Bron Breakker. Like, I don't know. I just did not see it being Finn.
So
even after the stuff that happened during the show.
Throughout the night, we had various segments with Finn Balor. First off, he approaches CM Punk backstage, thanking him for the match. It's one of the most memorable nights of my career, and I wanted to say thank you for the match. And Punk said, I want to thank you too. It takes two to tango. Like, I'm the best in the world because I beat the best in the world. And I think you are an incredible talent. I don't just hand these title shots out. I give them to people who've earned them. But really, if you want to be taken seriously, if you want people to think that you can be Finn Balor again, you've got to ditch the Judgment Day. Got to separate yourself away from garbage people like Dominic Mysterio and be your own man. Finn Balor's like nods and he takes this advice on board. And so he then goes to speak to Adam Pearce. He's like, Pearce, I feel rejuvenated after my title shot last week. I want to get another title shot, but I want to win and earn that right to get a title shot. I want to declare myself for the Royal Rumble. And Adam Pearce looks at the 15 names that are written down for the Royal Rumble and says, nope, it's full.
Well, of course, there are also 15 on the SmackDown side. So
no, that includes
maybe he's
the SmackDown side.
I see. I thought he wasn't privy to the SmackDown people.
No, that's 15. Yeah. There are 15 people announced for it.
This is very situational admin, isn't it? for the GMs. It's like we never really talk about the being full. We never even talk about the application process for being in the Royal Rumble. It seems to be that.
Can you just declare yourself?
Well, this is it. Finn came over and said, "I'm declaring myself for the Rumble." And according to the past decade or so of television, that's how you enter the Royal Rumble. Apparently, there's an application process and there's a deadline, and the deadline had passed and he missed it.
It's like the tax deadline. It's
a little bit.
You've got your self-assessment tax form.
I like irritating texts and emails from Adam Pearce being like, there's a deadline coming up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know there is!
The WrestleTalk podcast award deadline. Yeah, it's December 15th.
Well, look, I'm sorry, I haven't watched enough this year. No, I think there's something really funny about, like, it actually serves the narrative purposes.
It does.
Them saying, sorry, there's a deadline. And also,
I really liked it.
In my head, I've always, I mean, you know me, I quite like a GM. I like structure. I like to know how and why things are happening. You know, I do like when AEW goes, well, they've made the match official and it's coming in, and I've noticed that that's creeped in over in WWE programming as well. So that's good. Logic, cohesion, makes sense. It's not like, Cameron spawned out of the ether on the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble just to make an appearance. How did she enter it? Like, how do people enter the Royal Rumble? Do you drop him a text and be like, I'm ready and I'd like to submit? Is there like a quota for the number of legends? I don't know. I like the idea that this is not just something that happens. Yeah. Even if on television, we're sitting there going, well, who else is in the Rumble? They've got to know, So stuff like that's quite fun.
I've seen I've seen it on Reddit, people being like, there's too many names announced for the Rumble this year. I'm like, have you seen a Royal Rumble? Like, they usually announce, but with the amount of people banging on about this, I felt like 30 names had been announced.
This is for the Rumble prediction show maybe, but there's something really interesting in how last year there were no surprise entrants. It was just talent, and actually that contrasted to like a 1999 Rumble where it was just talent, but half the talent were low card people who you just didn't know.
Well, that is a match. That is a singles match between Austin and McMahon
Right.
that features 28 other people
Do you
who
know
are
what I mean?
inconsequential.
And actually how like, you know, whether or not their music was letting them down, the people everybody knew, once they saw their name on the screen, people were going, oh, that one. And it's like, actually, you can make a Royal Rumble now without relying on the nostalgia pop.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting, but we maybe haven't caught up with that yet, and there's an expectation that I'm going to get a nostalgia pop.
Of course.
We'll save that conversation for the
That's
prediction
20
show.
plus years worth of conditioning
Yeah,
that
completely.
you were expecting a Bubba Ray Dudley
Yeah.
to show up, because it's in Philadelphia or whatever it is. So I think what we'll end up with is when we actually get to the Royal Rumble, people looking at the 15 names that aren't announced, be like, oh, so they could be in the Royal Rumble, but Finn Balor couldn't. But like the story beat. This is a kayfabe reason why he's not in the Royal Rumble. You were too slow, which ties into the Punk promo from 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, when he was like, where have you been?
Yeah.
I said
You've
your
not
name.
been paying attention.
I said your name 3 months ago, and it's only now you're coming out to me. You've been spending far too much time backstage playing PS5 rather than coming out and trying to make a name for yourself. So it's all like, sure, like we can make fun of the fact that there are only 15 names announced. We can have a bit of fun with it. But the kayfabe reason I think is really, really solid.
Good logic.
I think it's great logic, and it makes it backs up the character that Finn currently has. And then he's walking away frustrated because he hasn't got his shot in the Rumble. And Liv Morgan approaches him being like, oh, talking to CM Punk, are we?
Yeah.
Having a handshake with CM Punk, are we?
Liv Morgan, the only person to watch television, like during, everyone else misses it, but she's there going,
What's
she in the
what's
background,
this
you know?
about? Have you forgotten? Judgment Day is your family. We are a family, and we want to win gold together this year. And do you know what we do in the Judgment Day? If you want to get something, you go out and get it.
yeah.
And Finn Balor, like, it's in that moment, like, from the Punk conversation, he was like, hey, I'm happy-go-lucky. I'm going to make a name for myself, and I'm going to get my shot in the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to earn it. And then he gets denied. And so all of a sudden, it's just like, well, why did I even bother trying? I'm going to go and I'm going to go take my opportunity then.
And I kind of liked where it tied into Liv's character a little bit as well, where she's just trying to keep the family together. Like, even though the Judgment Day are heels, there's something about we ride together, and she's been making good ever since she came back.
See, I disagree.
Okay.
I think she's the puppet master.
Well,
It's like Balor is a marionette being controlled by being controlled by his demon sat next to him in Blood on the Clock Tower, played by Liv Morgan. She is just pulling the strings for everyone. She is playing at being the peacemaker and the family maker. We've got no leaders here, but she's doing what Balor was doing. I don't know, what felt like 4 years ago at this point, when he's like, "There's no leaders in this group," but really everyone knows that I'm the leader.
Right. Yeah.
We're all a family here, but everyone's just doing what I currently tell them to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I think what I was more meaning was that it's this idea of like, she's like, what Judgment Day have I come back to? She's come back and Finn's suddenly like doing something like, first of all, either playing video games or not behaving in the way she thinks he should be. That's what I sort of meant. But you are right. I think there's something quite follower about Finn, which carry on with the part of the episode.
So the finale of this is Balor runs out during the main event and he attacks CM Punk and he attacks him around ringside and he lays him out.
Yeah.
Got to have a hot angle, got some really good heat from the crowd because, despite the fact they weren't seemingly into a lot of the action in the match, they were disappointed they didn't get a finish. But the reaction to this online has sort of been split into two, maybe three camps, maybe. Some people being like, this is pretty cool. And I'm going to be in this camp over here, by the way, this third camp. And I'll explain my reasons why shortly. But a lot of the reaction is like, man, if this is AJ's last match on Raw, that is a very unfitting end to being third wheel, being the background character to somebody else's feud. That is not befitting of the legend that is AJ Styles, that is his finale on Raw. And the other one of that is, man, after last week, I wanted to see Babyface Balor. And we're just going back to square one with him again being a heel, which I get and I respect. But this is why I'm in camp number 3 over here, which is, this is going to lead to the Babyface turn. And I think the babyface turn for Finn Balor only works if you have all of the Judgment Day there. And currently, Dominic Mysterio is injured and JD McDonough's injured.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want Finn Balor to split away from the Judgment Day and do a big angle. I haven't got the full lot.
Because at the moment, the Judgment Day is Finn and his girls.
Yeah.
Like Finn and his gal pals.
We haven't got Carlito anymore, so it literally is just...
Of the 4 of them, which one is Finn? Is he a Samantha? Is he a Carrie? Like, who do you think Finn is?
I mean, I've not watched an episode of Sex and the City since 1999.
Right.
So...
First of all, Raquel's obviously Samantha. We're going to go right in there. Big sexy.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on. I'm derailing.
Who is the main character again? Carrie,
Yeah.
yes.
That's Liv.
Is that Liv?
That's Liv.
The whingy one.
Which would make, I think Finn's Charlotte.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And she was the redhead
No,
one.
that's Miranda.
Ah,
that's
wrong.
Roxanne.
That's, yeah, and Charlotte was, yeah.
Kristen Davis, the
Chris,
prissy
right.
brunette.
I'm trying to think of any other film or TV show that she was in that I did see
She
her
was in an
in.
episode of Friends.
Yep. Sure was.
She performed. She was in Fatal Attraction when it was on stage here at the Theatre Royal
Was she
Haymarket.
really?
Yeah.
Great film.
Great film. And was it Fatal Attraction or was it the other one? Indecent Proposal. I think it was Fatal Attraction. Who's to say? Anyway, point being.
Now, if you'd have asked me which cast member of High School Musical they were,
which Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle is Finn?
now we're on. Now we're talking.
Anyway, no. So like, you're right. He's not got his like tag team partner around. He's not got the full gamut of Judgment Days.
So I don't want to do the split from Judgment Day now because you want to have that moment with Dom, with JD, where they can do something. The reports are like Dom is hurt, but I don't think he's going to be out for ages. Like I fully expect him to be in the Royal Rumble. Happy to be proven wrong on that one. But I fully expect... Sorry, I did that because I knew you had some coffee in your mouth. But the report from WrestleVotes is that JD isn't going to be back anytime soon. He's not going to be back until at least WrestleMania time, so more likely the spring. So I'm thinking this is a Raw After Mania angle.
Oh, do you know what timeline that puts you good for getting a babyface Finn Balor in time for? Money in the Bank!
I mean, let's not go too far now.
Oh, okay. Do you want to hedge your bet on that one? Happy to be proven wrong.
Look.
Money in the Bank. When Finn Balor wins Money in the Bank, I want you to roll the footage and I want you to bring me in and I want you to applaud me for a solid hour. No, I see. I know what you mean.
If Finn Balor wins Money in the Bank, we have got a serious problem on our hands.
I disagree.
Of age in this company, like push some younger lads already. This is a guy that was on top 10 years ago.
Hang on. Do you want babyface Finn Balor success or not?
I would love to have babyface Finn Balor, but I'm not giving him the Money in the Bank briefcase, trying to make quote unquote a new star out of Money in the Bank with Finn Balor.
Oh, I'm not saying you make a new star, but like, you know.
That's why I didn't see the point in giving it to Randy Orton or giving it to John Cena, because like, well, they get title shots every other Sunday.
So basically, my point of saying I think he should win the Money in the Bank, or at least when I arrived there on my memberberry high, I think there's if you want to do you want to tell a redemption story or not? And if you're going to tell a Finn Balor redemption story, he should we want to see it come good. And I don't think I've won the Intercontinental Championship again, even if you're beating Dominic Mysterio, is that big Finn Balor redemption arc. I think a sort of brief run with this secondary heavyweight championship is a decent thing to do. I feel like if you want to tell a story of your man who needs to rediscover who he is, has been lost playing PlayStation backstage for a little bit. I recognize that it's not Oba Femi. I recognize that it's not Trick Williams, who, by the way...
What a showing he had at the weekend.
Walk out like a star. Like, you want to talk about some people need to be on the main roster and then find their feet and then get to the main roster. He walked in ready. That TNA title run, I'm going to go so far as to say, was pivotal in the making of Trick Williams.
Dude, I am going to go to bat. This is why people like me and people within the sphere is just put them in the main event scene. If you've got confidence in them, don't just fanny around wasting time with them, Penta for a year doing Jack S on the main roster. Just put them straight into these positions, because if they've got the talents, they flourish. Maybe a way to do it is sink or swim.
Yeah.
Which the reports what they did with JC Jane. JC Jane has been in NXT for countless eons at this point. So they were like, look, either she is going to work here and we can make something of this, or we're just going to cut her. So let's put her into a main event scene and see what happens. And she's flourished. Yeah. And if anything, I think that main event run that she has had has saved her job and is now guaranteed her that she's going to be a utility player and she's going to definitely get a run on the main roster. Yeah. Just put them in these positions. If it doesn't work, at least you tried.
I mean, I always think you get praise for trying. I'd much rather you try and fail than not try at all. Where the thing about Balor and why I don't feel like it's older person taking up air, and I don't think a comparison to a Cena or an Orton is quite the right comparison, is that he just hasn't been there. When the graphic came up during the show for Drew and Sammy, and I was like, oh my god, that's for the WWE Championship. Drew and Sammy are both veterans on this roster, but it felt like, Brave New World, fresh, different. Because the last time I saw a World Championship graphic that didn't feature Roman Reigns, John Cena, or Cody Rhodes was literally 5 years ago. And I found that to be really like refreshing for me, a palate cleanser almost. Balor is someone who hasn't been in that main event scene properly. I mean, obviously he had that run with Seth, and that was the last time. And when that happened, you'll recall, we were all like, pull the trigger, go there, do it. I
think I'm more because, like I say, this belt doesn't matter anyway, so you may as well.
Right.
And also it makes it, because you got Damian Priest with the money in the bank.
Narratively, it was satisfying.
Storyline,
and if you can find a way to narratively get there, and this is kind of what we talked about with the real thing, if you can narratively do it, I don't see any reason why not. And I personally just don't feel like Finn Balor's age is justification for not striking when something is hot.
The age is not what I'm really focusing on here. The thing I'm focusing on is just like he's been on the main roster for 10 years. And like, there are times to just sort of like maybe look at some new faces.
Sure.
And yeah, sure, he will feel like a new face because he's not been in the main event picture for, for so many years. But he's like, it's part of the furniture.
Sure.
And like, there are more brand new, exciting names that you can put into that position that I think you should be focusing on now, as opposed to just focusing on, like, the Sami Zayn thing is a really good example of this. I'm really excited for that match. But do I think that should that have been a WrestleMania match? No. It is perfect for a Royal Rumble show because the WWE Championship is not the draw of that show. The 2 Royal Rumbles are the draw of that show. So it's like, it's Brock Lesnar versus Bob Holly for the WWE title. You can put that on a Royal Rumble because that's not the draw. So I think it's great. And also it's in Saudi Arabia. It's like, I don't feel like I've got this sort of like, oh, that's new, that's fresh, and that's different, because I fully expected that to happen once they announced the Fatal 4-Ways.
Right.
That they were going to, or the match had set up the Fatal 4-Way, because I was like, well, that's the direction we're going. Sammy wins in Montreal, then he'll have the match in Saudi Arabia. He won't win there, I'm pretty confident in saying. And Drew will then go on to WrestleMania. So I don't have that sort of like, oh, this is new, fresh, and original. This is more like, that's what I expected to happen. With Balor, I just think like, I'm so on board for a babyface Balor run. I'm going to agree with something you said earlier, though. I'd actually slightly disagree with what you said earlier. I think him versus Dominic Mysterio is a much better WrestleMania match. There's so much more.
Yeah, but what's after WrestleMania?
Him with the IC title and going into a cool IC title run, just doing banger matches on TV every week.
Right, and then what's after that? Like, what I'm saying is,
we'll put him in the give him Money in the Bank, give him world title. What's after that?
Carry on, tell a story there.
Great.
Then, but
the same thing then. Carry on and tell a story with him having the IC title.
Well, yeah. I don't see why you can't do both. Like, when you said that JD McDonough, the reason I brought up Money in the Bank specifically, rather than saying, well, having me win the Elimination Chamber and fight for the world title at WrestleMania, is because I think that's what you do, is you take a little bit of time. And I think that getting him back to a position where you can be like, oh, it'd be cool to see you do something in the world title. Great, you've done that storyline, Intercontinental title run for a while, Money in the Bank, world title, and then I just, for me, I think there's creative potential untapped, and I'm keen to see it, and I think based on the success of last week, there's an appetite for it.
I think to a certain level, though. I personally,
well, that's the whole question of the ceiling, and you can heat anything up if you want to.
Yeah. Okay, so there is I would push back on. I'll do a Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park of like, you could do it, but should you do it? Like,
why
should
not?
like should
I
you?
would.
Like, yeah, I mean, you can do,
Yeah.
but like, I don't think that is a long-term plan. I think that is a good thing to do. I think Balor is likely going to be facing Punk for the title at. Oh, actually, do you know what? Now I'm just saying that out loud. Completely makes sense. You do the rematch in Elimination Chamber. That's in Chicago. So Balor had his home field advantage on the Raw. Now Punk has his home field advantage. That is a nice mirroring of that.
Yeah.
But from there, like, I don't want to see a babyface run. And I think going into a title picture with Dominic Mysterio going into WrestleMania, which plays off what happened last year, it plays off all this years-long Judgment Day drama, I think is a really good level for him. And I think we can have a great babyface run after that. Maybe I am just on a bit of a run here, which like I completely... I'm willing to admit I feel like I could be very wrong on this one, and I've just got a bit of a personal thing against this. I just think we need to be looking towards some new faces to be putting into the main event scene, as opposed to be relying on names from 10 years ago, relying on names from 20 years ago to kind of keep this main event scene going, when there are just a bunch of guys there. You're like a Trick Williams. Just go and give it a shot to a new time. Let's strap the rocket to someone new, someone fresh, someone original, someone different. Or there's a world where you can do both.
I just feel like there is a world you can do both.
But it feels like they only ever do one of them.
Yeah, well, that's a flaw on their part. And if we're having a conversation, and what I like, if I'm here to sit in this table and think, what could you do, rather than trying to guess what they will do, I'm gonna fight for opportunities for people who haven't been in the scene and who I think can deliver something. And I think a Finn Balor main event push, great, have your Intercontinental title and do your banger matches to solidify his babyface turn, and then he can drop it to someone else and elevate himself into the main event picture, and then do the same thing in the main event. Like, I find an Intercontinental title run, sure, far less exciting than a world title picture, and I think that's so interesting that we're on the opposite end of the spectrum. Yeah. You're saying don't rinse and repeat, except for when you put the Intercontinental title on Finn Balor, because at what point do we just advocate for? And then this is something else where it's like we're talking about the AJ retirement, because thank God people are having longer and longer careers. People aren't moving on, and the turnover is less, so the opportunity is less.
But much like with AJ, I don't think I'd be advocating for AJ having a long world title run at this point, just because. And then same with like Punk having the world title now. Like, I mean, I sort of do and I sort of don't in a way. Like, I think it can be a case by case basis.
I think,
but I am a little bit on a horse at the moment of which I appreciate. I am banging this, and I know I'm sure people are getting very frustrated with me. So I am sorry about this, and I do apologize for this. I do think we need to be looking more towards the future.
I agree that you need to look more towards the future, but the problem is if you strap the rocket to someone right now, you'll be bored of Trick Williams in 5 years. Like, you could make the argument.
Great. So you use it as 5 years now to start working on someone else. You don't need to have 20-year runs on the top of the division.
No, but like, there's a world where you have... It's about freshening up and making the ecosystem, like refreshing the people, and like the Lush bath bombs, you bring the fresh ones to the top, but that doesn't mean you get rid of the other ones. And I think that... I don't know. I've staked my claim.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with it. If anyone wants to push forward the idea that he should win Money in the Bank and be a world heavyweight, like, it's fun. Like, it's the mid-card world title anyway, so it's not like he's going to be the face of the company. So, like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But I think that there is a better use of Balor would be within that Intercontinental title picture, working with younger stars, maybe doing like an IC title open challenge thing on Monday Night Raw. I think that is a better use of Balor in terms of fun stories there, as opposed to pushing him into the world title at the detriment of potentially some new faces within that world title scene, and using something like the Money in the Bank to just give it to someone who doesn't really need it.
I would call him a new face in the world title scene, and I think you can have an established new face in the world title scene and bring up the younger ones as well. I think you can achieve both.
But at the end of the day, point is, and I hate using the phrase "at the end of the day."
At the end of the day,
we had a good game. Just gave it 2 hours. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah,
like it sounds like I'm not. It sounds like I'm the negative Nancy in all of this.
It really does.
Because
it sounds like you don't like it at all.
Because you're polar positivity. I feel like I'm negative Nancy over here. But like,
I'm naive Norman.
But I came out of this episode super pumped about Finn Balor. Super into this because I think that you can tell a great story with Finn Balor here and this redemption arc for him. And I think that's great. I think that the peppering of Balor throughout the episode was a lovely little bit of show-long storyline to pay off into the main event. Sure, DQ, I'm not fully fond of that. It's a comment coming up later, which I do agree with. It was like, could have done the clean finish, then done the attack, rather than ending in a lame DQ, because I think DQs suck and they are a booking crutch of Triple H. But I came out this episode so positive about the direction for Finn Balor. And actually, and a lot of things. I thought this was a really good episode of Raw.
Yeah, I did too. I enjoyed myself very much.
Yeah. So we had the opening segment with AJ, then we had a recap of Saturday night's main event. And then we had the Judgment Day of Liv, Raquel, and Roxanne taking on Rhea, Io, and Stephanie Vacquer. We talked about this last week, the WWE formula of a party match, which is you do 2 heat segments, then everyone gets in and has fun.
Yeah.
That was followed this, and it was a lot of fun in the last third.
Yeah, I love these 3 on the heel side as a unit. There was a shot of them standing in front of the announce table when the babyfaces were making their entrance, and I was just like, Jesus, you all look cool. I don't know what it is. I was reflecting back on when, and we'll, she's going to go on and have further stuff happening in this episode, but when we were talking about Raquel Rodriguez years ago, and her thing was that she had a back. Like, she would come out to some generic Latin music, stand in the ring, smile, and show that she has an impressive muscular back.
Raquel Rodriguez.
And that was the extent of it.
Yeah.
And it was never about a lack of talent or a lack of vibe. Like, I always liked Raquel Rodriguez, but I didn't see anything. They weren't presenting her in a way that made me go, oh, you seem cool. She looks so cool.
So
right
cool.
Now. And I think the leaning into everything about being the bigger, taller, stronger, like all of that stuff. Whenever she hoists someone up for a Tiana bomb, I'm like, oh.
Well, she absolutely, like, hoisted is a great word. Stephanie Vacquer into that move at one point. Like, she literally just sort of muscled her up into that move. It was absolutely rad.
Yeah.
But in the end, Rhea got the win over yet again. And there was a comment that was left on Patreon. I don't think I've included it. There's like, I don't think I would be putting Stephanie Vacquer in a tag team with Rhea Ripley because she does not look like as big of a star against her. Because like everyone just gets overshadowed by a Rhea Ripley because she is an enormous star.
I would go so far as to say, and this is maybe a bit controversial, that she seems like the third biggest female star on Raw.
Absolutely.
Like that women's world title looks secondary to the Intercontinental title at the moment.
I completely agree with you, and that's nothing to do with Stephanie.
Nope.
That is all down to...
Because in summer, she was it.
Yeah.
You know.
And actually, that sort of go back to the Balor thing. I think that's where the frustrations are coming in. Like, I don't think there is heat on Finn Balor. I think there is heat on the company and the booking of Finn Balor. Like, we're coming out. I think that's where a lot of those frustrations came from. And that's what I've got with Stephanie.
Right.
I've got a problem with WWE's lack of heat that they're creating for Stephanie Vacquer in making her, like, she's like incredible.
Oh yeah.
And they've done the diddly dick with her as the world champion. We've got she has a backstage segment with Raquel where they brawl and Adam Pearce makes a title match for next week's episode of Raw in a Philly street fight. I'd say this on the edited review, but man, I am going to need some bigger, better challenges. I think Raquel's great, and I think this big sexy character refresh has been really great for her. Stephanie needs something big. She needs to feel like she is the top champion of this division, and at the moment she does not.
I wonder whether she drops the belt to serve the Judgment Day storyline going into WrestleMania. Like, I don't know that 3-4 weeks ago I would ever have advocated for this, but you know, tune into the predictions and see the things that we're all thinking and talking about. But I wonder whether or not an opportunity to, like, because I think the lack of decent challenge, you know, I think she did an all right job in that program with Nikki Bella, but it didn't light the world on fire. And then the injury, which has sort of kept her sort of off TV. Meanwhile, other things, including but not limited to Rio, have pushed you know to the forefront of the attention in the writers' room, has sort of hampered her a little bit. And a little tiny reset button might be useful.
Yeah. We got a recap of Punk versus Balor from last week, and that's where we got the backstage segment of him chatting with Punk and Balor, which I really, really liked. Triple H is the cover star of 2K26 in the King of Kings Deluxe Edition Uber Duper.
How many editions of this game are there?
Well, they always do this 2K26. You release I think you do this with most modern games.
Yeah.
Now. You just sort of release like 20 editions of a game that have all got varying different
Taylor
price
Swift
points.
did this with her album as well. Which color do you want? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a way to, you know, get more money out of people.
And ultimately drive sales.
Yeah.
Like, as in, like, to put yourself to the top of the charts because all the different editions.
I just wrote in the caps over F's sake. Just 'cause it's not about me. I don't want to be front and center of the attention, but I will be the star cover of a video game. We'll talk about 2K26 later on because someone has a comment about it, and we'll have some thoughts on it. The Vision come out for a promo. Austin Theory was in gear, so he's going to be having a match in a bit. This was I used to hate this in Vince era Raw, where people would come out for a promo in gear and it was like, all right, so
you're having the match.
You're having a match now. And then they act surprised at a match like, you're in gear.
Yeah.
It's a good job you're in gear. There's such an easy way to do this as well, which is just to do the match later on.
Yeah.
So you come out not in gear.
Which they did at the start of the show. AJ
exactly, yeah. And so then you do maybe the tag match, and then you do the Austin Theory Rey Mysterio match.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, like, there's a word within drama theory and film theory called verisimilitude. Yes. And a wrestler coming out while no one else is in their gear and they are in their gear, then act surprised when they're announced for a match, takes me, like, that ruins the verisimilitude.
Yeah. It's silly.
It is silly.
It's silly.
Either be always in gear or never in gear.
Yeah.
But they show Heyman show video.
Unless we corporate Kane wrestling in slacks. No one wants to see that.
Strong disagree. That is the best version of Kane outside of 2001 Kane. Heyman showed a video of Pearce touching Bron first, and then like handing Rey Mysterio the brass knucks last week. Which, you know, he didn't do the second one,
but it looked like
he did. And Adam Pearce comes out and very calmly just says, "Bron, I'm sorry I put my hands on you. I have reinstated you from your suspension, and you're going to be in the Royal Rumble."
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman's then to be like, and Pearce like, and So is Bronson Reed, so is Logan Paul, and so is Austin
This is why
Theory.
Finn didn't get to put his name in the hat. He's just handing out spots willy-nilly everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know?
This was really great performance from Adam Pearce. Obviously, the phone call last week has spooked him.
Yeah.
And he realizes that he does need to just be a boss now and not have his emotions on show. And I thought he played his role great here. And you got these smug prick heels just being like, yes.
But I also liked that later on in the episode, there was almost a little bit of a, maybe it was because I was tired and I misremember the segment. There seemed to be a little bit of like, oh, hang on, this wasn't quite in the plan. It was almost like Adam Pearce had gone like, you can have all of this. And now they're like, what do we do about it? Because we sort of pick Bron Breakker as the one to be the star.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, there's going to be an interesting dynamic when we get into the Royal Rumble. I really liked that backstage.
Yeah, it was a nice little
they
shift.
had later on. And he also booked, to everyone's surprise, Austin Theory in a match where he took on Rey Mysterio.
Thank God he was ready.
Always ready.
Yeah.
Shenanigans on the outside led to Theory hitting the stomp on Rey to get the win. Match was completely fine. Probably not helped by the fact that Rey got hurt.
Which I've watched 3 or 4 times now and I can't work out where it happens.
It's on the outside. I think it's when he does the Hurricane Run and he lands awkwardly on his knee and then he struggles to get up and then he's hobbling around.
It just looks such a simple thing. I mean, it's one of those funny things where like muscles are a fascinating thing and all it takes is for you to like look in the wrong direction and your body goes, no.
It's when people are having a go at John Moxley doing the board of nails spot on Dynamite. And I was like, mate, I think he'd much rather take that than some other moves because that you can be in control of. Like that, you know exactly what is a plan because you've planned to do this landing. But the injuries that hurt you the most are the ones you're not expecting. And it's just an accident. It just happens. Kevin Owens didn't get hurt in the ladder match with Cody Rhodes. He got hurt in a random match with Rey Mysterio on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Like that, these things just happen.
Do. It's
and it sucks for Rey. There's fan footage out there of him being carried to the back. Like because the Vision then lay out Rey's mates. So they lay out Penta, they lay out Dragon Lee. But Rey is just on the apron. Medical staff are there, referees are there. They give the dreaded X sign.
I think the plan was for him to be speared out of his boots. And
I think so.
And you can see they're like, no, do it to Penta instead.
Yeah. So it was a bit awkward towards the end. Sucks for Rey because he's only just came back from injury in November. And there's nothing out about how long he might be out for now. Probably won't know for a couple of days because they'll need to go get evaluated.
And I've been really enjoying this little dynamic with Penta and Dragon Lee as well. It's been fun.
If only he had an actual brother who's a
I do keep thinking about
team.
I'm like, hang on, are you gonna? You know.
Well, apparently someone said, I can't remember who it was now, said that they weren't expecting him to get over as a single star as much as he did because they were supposed to come in together.
He's sick and cool and brilliant.
They were supposed to come in together. That was the plan. But then AEW fudged WWE's plans because, well, Penta was going around telling everyone in the AEW locker room, I'm going to WWE now. And then they announced, like, they released some merchandise for him before his contract was finished up with AEW. So they're like, well, fine, we're just going to extend your time here then, you know, like dicks. And that just smegged up all of the plans that they had for them to come in as a tag team.
Yeah.
Apparently they were meant to come in and work together with Cody and Roman. Like, that was the plan, was that were the original things for the Lucha Bros.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
So Penta had to come in as a single star.
And he gets over.
And they were not expecting him to get over as he did as a single star. So it was like, well, then we'll just put Rey over on SmackDown. And Rey's done nothing over on SmackDown.
No, he had that really fun tag team with Andrade for a little while.
Oh, that's true. He did do that. He was part of SummerSlam. He lost his first WrestleMania match because he was a replacement in the El Grande Americano match.
He was, yeah.
And yeah, so even I was like, well, don't you want to just put them together then?
But I'm enjoying Penta very much.
I'm enjoying Penta very much as well. But if you're going to put him in a tag team with Dragon Lee,
you might as well.
You may as well have just done it with Rey Fenix then. We then get the brawl between Raquel and Stephanie. Gunther has a sit-down interview. He's tired. He's like me. I'm tired of all these old timers taking up sort of space on TV. Why aren't we pushing younger stars? Why are all these old lads out here, including you, Michael Cole?
Yeah.
How long have you got left? I'll retire you if you're not careful.
What did Michael Cole do to Gunther approximately a year and a half ago that has made him so angry?
But he kept talking about him tapping out.
That is true.
That actually, yeah. To bring up, we didn't talk about this in the opening segment. I think it was weird that Punk said, "I think you can beat Gunther. We saw you beat Gunther 2 weeks ago on Raw." And I'm like, no, that's not the story. The story is Gunther outsmarted AJ. He didn't tap out for real. He tapped out as a fake out.
Yeah.
So he then outsmart AJ and beat him.
I think Punk meant to say something along those lines in a more babyfacey, not make AJ look like a fool way, and lost his way because he absolutely stumbled over that.
Yeah.
And then he was like, how do I find my way back in?
Yeah.
And then just did the easiest route. But I don't think that's quite what he meant to say.
Or do they think the story actually is, no, AJ did beat him and Gunther did tap out?
Yeah. I don't know.
Then we got the Finn moment with the Royal Rumble. Then we got the four-way Los Americanos versus New Day versus Alpha Academy versus the Creeds making their return to TV.
God, all I could think about was how excited I was when the Creeds came up.
Oh, only shout out to Chad Gable. He's responsible for 3 of the 4 teams.
He is. I was like, was he in the New Day? You know, no, yeah. I there was a moment where like Brutus did the big ball off the top rope, and Julius had done his lovely overhead suplex, the best move in all of professional wrestling.
It's amazing they've done nothing with these lads.
Infuriating to me, truly infuriating.
And it's not even like they couldn't think of anything for them. It's because Chad got hurt, so now we don't know what to do.
Yeah,
it's like, is that all it is? Like I've seen it across wrestling across the years that if one member of a tag team gets hurt, then we don't really know what to do with the other lad. Like if one of FCR gets hurt, it's like, well, I don't know what to do with the other one then. Just take time off until your tag partner gets back. Yeah. But it's not even like their tag partner got hurt. Their manager got hurt. And I'm like, well, don't know what to do with you then. Yeah. And like the Viking Raiders have been like, they don't even call that anymore. The War Raiders have been on TV for ages. This did feel like, oh yeah, the tag division. That's right. A little bit. But this was a formality match, which I'm glad that they did, which was their Alpha Academy got the win here. They did the angle a couple of weeks back where they said, we want to have a shot at the tag titles. And then we did a 4-way match here to make them and give them a win. Great, fine. Yeah. That's exactly what we were talking about on that show. It's like, don't just give jabronis title shots out of nowhere. Have them win a match to make it feel like, well, if they win here, maybe they could win when you get a tag match. Build this, make it feel like it could matter. And despite the fact that they have not had a tag match since like 2024, this crowd was so into Alpha Academy as a tag team.
Yeah, I mean, it was partly just charisma, I think. Like, you know, they're really good at playing this. I didn't see them winning it. I don't know if that's egg on my face. I thought this was New Days. I thought they were just going to go down that road.
There was no other team winning this other than Alpha Academy in my books.
And I'm glad they did, because I do love them. Although I love the Creeds as well. I would just like to see the Creeds more on television.
I would too.
Please.
Becky got a promo about all the women that she's beaten so far. Be like, look, I've beaten all these women. I've said it every week. Her Trump gimmick is so funny.
Her delivery is just very good. She knows exactly how to use the melody and the pattern of speech and the tempo and when to raise her voice and when to not. She's really good at it. Which
makes me then very excited, because I want to see how she's going to weave this into her online and her promo game. Now she's going into a feud with the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah.
Because like surely she's going to be able to get some great stuff, some like great sort of because there's, you know, it's like a Moody Maxine or, you know, whatever the thing about it. So what she's going to have for Kairi and for Asuka. Yeah. Because Kairi walks up to be like, well, Becky Lynch, you may be in the Royal Rumble, but you're not going to win because Asuka's going to win. I'm going to make sure. No one's ready for Asuka. No one's ready for Asuka. And it did seem we were setting up a match between Becky and Asuka for the IC title. And I'm all for that.
I shan't complain.
No.
I certainly shan't.
Because you know what? They had an awesome match over the women's title at the 2019 Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they did.
Superb stuff. AJ was warming up backstage and Javon Evans walked up. Javon Evans declared himself for the Royal Rumble during the ad break, which I feel like was where he lives on Monday Night Raw. And then we got the announcement of the match.
Also, I find that really interesting because, sorry, this is just a functional thing. I don't know if this happens to anyone else. If I watch Netflix on my laptop, I will see the ad breaks. If I'm watching it on the telly or anywhere else, it will cut the ad breaks out entirely. So if WWE are going to put things like that in the ad breaks, because there was also a Raquel ad break, and if they're going to be important, then you probably should do a little recap package.
Well, they did this when this was what they said about when Javon got called up. They announced that Javon had signed with the Raw roster during the ad break. And like, because we've got a work Netflix account and it's on the highest tier possible, so it's the ad-free tier. I don't see any of the ads. I guess unless I watch it live, which I'm not going to do. It's on at 1 a.m. I don't see any of the ad stuff, so I have no idea this stuff happens. Yeah. And the point that Brian and Dave were making on Wrestling Observer Radio about Siobhan Evans was, just show it in a recap then. Yeah. Like, just show it as a video thing. It was like, oh, during one of the commercial breaks, there's really exciting news. Siobhan Evans has been called up to the main roster.
And now it's during the commercial break, which you can see if you subscribe to the higher Netflix tier. Like, there are things that you can do to please the Netflix people as well. Yeah. It's a functional thing of Netflix. If you're going to put plot details in there, that's when you're going to need to recap.
And they also announced that Oba Femi will make his main roster debut in the Royal Rumble.
That should have been a little surprise.
I don't know.
Not surprise. I think everyone saw it coming, but it
yeah.
would have been more fun to not have it just like said.
I prefer it this way.
Yeah,
I think I really like this. We've had weeks of like teasers of Oba Femi on Raw and SmackDown, and so then like, the final one just to be Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I'm like, sweet.
That's fair.
Love it. Have him win it.
Yeah.
I am all aboard the Oba train. I think that there's money to be made with this guy. And the last angle to talk about, which another backstage segment I really, really liked, was that classic bit of heel factions where they're just like, we're going to come down to the final, like we'll work it. So all four of us are the last one standing in the Royal Rumble. And then all of them are thinking, I was like, and then I'm going to win it. But individually, and it was Logan Paul that was leading this, said, and then Bron should win. And Bronson Reed says, I agree, Bron should win. And Austin Theory says, me too, Bron's our winner. And it goes over to Bron Breakker and he's like, yeah. I love this because it's perfect heel shenanigans of they set you up to think that Logan Paul, the egomaniac, is going to be like, and then I'm going to win it because I'm Logan Paul, Pokemon cards. And what he actually said was...
That's what he sounds like.
Yeah, and what he says is, and Bron should win. And all of them agree.
Yeah.
But dramatic irony, when you get into that Royal Rumble match, egos might take over.
Let's say you are the final four, then what?
Whatever you're the final four, and then Logan Paul's like, but I could go on to main event.
You will step out the ring?
Yeah.
You? Yeah.
Or what if Logan Paul accidentally eliminates Austin Theory? And he's like, oh, no, that wasn't part of that. I didn't mean to do that. And then Bronson Reed, there's so much stuff you can do with this.
Or Oba Femi comes in and cleans house.
Just eliminates all four of them.
Yeah.
I really, really liked this.
Yeah, it was fun. It's nice that the thing about the Royal Rumble is that, like, you know, there are so many different ways that you can protect or affirm or tell something. And I do like that there was almost an element of like, be careful what you wish for, Paul Heyman. Adam Pearce sort of got a little bit of his power back. And then now, thank God we've come to an agreement, but there's an uneasiness to this.
Exactly, yeah.
What has hitherto been a quite simple alliance.
And it's really the only build for the Royal Rumble we had on this entire show.
Yeah. Other than the constantly saying that the Royal Rumble is happening on Saturday, which is not incorrect.
Look at the stadium that Michael Cole said WWE have built.
So oh God, not to, be too political on Maine, but the state of the temporary stadium, if that isn't something that exposes the fraud that is this Riyadh season extravaganza everywhere, like, for me, that stadium's going to disappear. I could understand if it was like, hey, we have great stadiums. Hey, we have all of this infrastructure. This is a fantastic part of the world. We're going to build this temporary thing. It's going to be like, it's the same thing with the World Cup, where it was like, we're going to build all these stadiums and then they're going to just lie empty for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And I'd dread to think how this stadium has been completed so quickly. Like, it doesn't feel like a good thing.
I was going to say, it was like barely built 2 weeks ago.
It's in the desert. It's a mirage. The whole thing is, it's all nonsense. It's all bollocks.
But we'll get onto this point because I think someone does bring up in the raw thoughts on patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Go get involved there. Is this was the go home show for the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
And it did not feel like a go home show for the Royal Rumble.
It seems like the Royal Rumble has surprised them this year by happening.
Oh yeah, it is happening this year.
Yeah.
I am hoping that on SmackDown this Friday, because I think they'll do a lot of more build on SmackDown on Friday. That's what I'm certainly hoping for anyway. I want them to have that Punk Cody segment. Because like I've been missing that from my Royal Rumble build, because I want to see what the next chapter of that story is.
Yeah.
Because we've got to get to that match at some point.
The annual.
Yeah, the annual. Here's where we stand in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
It's disappointing they didn't do it on Raw because it's always been tied to
Raw
Raw previously, but I want them to do it on SmackDown. But at the very least, just do some angles on SmackDown to get me hyped for the Royal Rumble. I mean, you don't have to do a lot. I'm already hyped for the Royal Rumble. It's a Royal Rumble.
This is the question, I suppose. How much is it, we're going to watch this one. Even the people who are out of touch watch this one. Especially now it's on Netflix.
Everyone does.
So you don't have to do too much.
I said this on the...
And it's not like a WrestleMania because the match itself is sort of the fun.
That's what we were saying earlier about the Drew, or rather what I was saying earlier about the Drew Sammy match. It was like, it doesn't really matter that match is happening on the Rumble at all, because the thing you're most excited for are the 2 Rumble matches that all open and close the show.
Yeah.
I over the last 26 years of being a wrestling fan, the amount of times I've had conversation with people who've been like, man, even if the show is rubbish, I'm always excited for a Royal Rumble. Or people who'll be like, I haven't watched for like 6 months, but I will watch the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Like this is like we are getting off Lee Delamere back onto the M4 so we can get onto the road to WrestleMania. Like this is I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm always excited for a Rumble, and everyone's always excited for a Royal Rumble. Like this is the Christmas Eve.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's awesome. I love it. Raw thoughts. Get on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk to get your thoughts in on Monday Night Raw, which we are going to read out now. This one comes in from Aziz. Is this the best January the Fed has ever had?
I will say I have been so relieved with this January comparatively to especially the latter half of 2025, which had its moments in certain places, but there was a bit of a creative dearth going on there. They were a bit like, well, this one has been okay. If this is how you're starting the year, this is promising. Let's keep it up.
Last 2 weeks, yes. First 2 weeks I thought were like broadly fine shows, but like I think the last 2 weeks of Raw have been very good.
Didn't Drew win the belt on the 2nd of January?
I'm just talking about Raw specifically.
Okay. I just meant the WWE.
You're right.
WWE
sorry, because it was on Raw. You're right. Like I should talk like on that note, you're right, because SmackDown has been like this week's show was fine.
Yeah.
But the first 3 weeks have been really good. It's mad, isn't it? Because like all of the good stuff has not been involved in the Royal Rumble. So around the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But and do I think it's the best January they've ever had? Nope, because nothing will beat January 4th, 1999.
What happened then?
It's when Mick won the title.
I always thought that was in December.
Greatest Raw of all time. So awesome. Voltec Dormammu. The main event really made me question whether AJ really is retiring. If he is, he's done more than enough and deserves his rest. But part of me really hopes he secretly signed an extension for one last big run. I don't know where I stay at the moment.
We're going to talk.
We sure
Watch
are.
the predictions.
Colt Durham says, very mid episode. Feel like I wouldn't have missed much if I didn't watch. Just felt very predictable.
I know what you mean. I think I sort of said this on the Dynamite podcast last week where I said there was nothing in any way wrong with this episode. It was just wrestling, and if you watched it casually, you'd enjoy yourself. I think this was that. Yeah. I think sometimes you can watch WWE where you're like, oh my God, this is a car crash. Sometimes you can watch it where I can't take my eyes away. And then sometimes you get shows like this where it's like, yeah. And I don't think for me, mid could either be like the or the. I think it was like a positive mid.
Yeah, there's a thing they used to do on the Observer, which is like thumbs in the middle slightly pointing up, or thumbs in the middle slightly pointing down. Like that is kind of like where I'm in as well, actually. I a couple of weeks back when we had the episode where Finn Balor was like, hey, I'm going to have a match in Ireland because of reasons. I was like, man, like this feels like I need something exciting on this show. The last couple of weeks have given me much more of that excitement. They are still perfectly fine episodes of Raw, but I have very much enjoyed them.
Yeah. Ultimately, that's what you want. You want to sit down and watch a show and enjoy yourself. Yeah.
Denny Dorco. I saw they unveiled the Triple H themed edition of WWE 2K26 on Raw tonight. So does the King of King edition start out being really good, but after a while slow down, hog all of your systems out and become unwatchable? Yeah. I hope there's enough Monday Night War wrestlers on the Monday Night Wars edition that you guys can do a Monday Night Wars at MyGM mode again, but entirely with Attitude Era stars.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So, this is what I wanted to bring up here. I know, because I have been told, that
don't be breaking any NDAs.
It's not breaking any NDAs because I've not signed anything.
Don't be in trouble.
I have been told, because I know, that people who make the games are big fans of the Monday Night War series.
Oh, I see.
Big fans of
specifically
our Monday Night War series that we do.
Yeah,
with
but
the
like
MyGM mode.
Specifically me.
And I have inquired in the past because when Pete and I were playing the game, like it was like we did the first year when they brought it back in like 2022 or something.
Who was the person that you thought they put in there specifically for you? Wasn't it?
There was 2020.
The Fisherman.
It was John the Fisherman. And there was a 2023, I think it was in there as well. We were making jokes about Mr. Higglesby.
Yeah.
And
not jokes.
And then some of those were implemented into the Mr. Higglesby design then in the following game. Right. There was also Queen of the Scene.
Yeah.
Because we were talking a lot about Scene Queen on there. And I have been told by someone that there have been times where we have influenced changes that they have made on the show.
That's quite fun.
And I don't think it is any coincidence that you, I, and Ollie have recently just done a series based around the Monday Night War.
That happened completely by accident.
Completely by accident.
Yeah.
And then they announce a Monday Night War series
That's fun.
for
like
2K26.
#influencer.
#influence.
Yeah.
Though I will say, when I saw the lineup for it, I'm like, well, they were all in the game last year, so it's not like...
Well, this is the... I mean, there are only a handful of like, you know, I mean, you could... Well, none of that was a sentence. But, you know, I was trying to think, like, you know, who else would you put in there? And then I was like, actually, yeah, you could put all of Too Cool in there. You could put, like, whatever.
Yeah, you can sign the right deals.
Yeah,
you can get Too Cool in there.
Might as well get, you know, Foley's not going to resign a new one, but you've got him at the moment, so...
Well, yeah, but he's not in their good books at the moment, is he?
Well, they've got the contract, though, so they can just... It's already...
Oh, and he's got...
It expires in, like, June, so...
Oh, when his Legend contract is up.
Yeah.
Well, they're different deals, because 2K deals as opposed to WWE
I thought the Legend
deals.
deal encompassed the 2K
I don't believe it
deals.
does. Like, I think it's 2K... Like, because it's with Sting was announced for the 2K game.
Yeah,
way
right.
back in the day. Like, that was not a WWE
Oh, and
thing.
Goldberg wasn't in...
Goldberg was
yeah.
another one as well. Like, and then it's like the hype of that was like, well, maybe we should get in touch
We should
with
bring
these
the guy in.
Maybe we
yeah.
should get in touch with these people and see if they want to come in and do a wrestle for us. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to a new series. Like, the thing I'm really looking forward to is the CM Punk showcase mode.
Yeah.
Which is, it's the what if storyline of what if Punk didn't walk out in 2014 and what matches would he have had he stayed for those 10 years. That's a really fun little showcase mode to do.
I'm also interested, like, you know, the AA, the AAA, the TNA. Probably not any TNA in there, but, like, you know, you've got your AAA, you know, deals as well. There's a lot. I did start seeing all of the editions be sort of announced, and, you know, China's on the front cover of a game twice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thrilled. And I was like, going over to her indoors, like, I might need to get to PS5 because I don't think this one's going to be on PS4, and I've been holding on to the past for years.
Did someone see you make a joke as well about, like, Triple H is on the cover of every edition of 2K26?
He's just, like, in the background of the Punk.
It's really...
Like, if you zoom really in on his little fist, he's in there.
But it's not about him. Wheels. I'm convinced that AJ's retiring on Saturday. I've been watching him since 2006 in TNA, so I don't know if it's just because he's my favorite from back in the day. But am I the only one who thinks the booking of his last year has been frustrating and kind of disappointing? I don't know if I'd fully agree with that. I don't think I would say, like, his final year has been disappointing.
This is the triangle I was talking about, and we'll go into it more on the predictions just because that feels like a natural place to do it. But the triangle of what the company wants, what the fans want, and what AJ wants is a really interesting one to look at in this context. And I who is AJ Styles in wrestling as a whole? Who is AJ Styles in WWE specifically? What does AJ Styles want? What do the fans want? Mm-hmm. It's a really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this is, and maybe we'll talk about this a little bit more on the Rumble show, but just to talk about Wheels' point, I wouldn't say that I would call it disappointing or frustrating.
No, I've
because,
had fun.
Like, I haven't felt like I've been disappointed with what AJ's doing. What I will say, though, is that if this Saturday is the last one, I don't think they've made a big enough deal of it.
I will think you'll look at it, and I think you will have left money on the table.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Sebastian here says, a very dull go-home show, but go-home shows don't exist anymore, so I can't really rag on that. But man, the Rumble this year has not been built at all compared to last year. Hopefully it's good, though. I mean, it will be. It's a Rumble.
Yeah.
Benito says, I know it'll piss off Balor fans, but how is this any different from Ivy Nile demanding another IC title shot after she'd already lost a title match, not one she didn't deserve to begin with? Balor is talented, deserves better, sure, but he's a total jabroni. One good match doesn't suddenly change that.
I agree with that, and my argument to that is simply do better then.
Yes.
And I think, you know, with Ivy Nile, she went, well, I'll have another one, and then walked away. With Finn Balor, they're telling a bit more of a story.
At least they did
and they
angle.
denied him.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
You know.
That's the difference, is that Ivy Nile lost a match, then had a 30-second backstage segment where she said to Adam Pearce, I want another one.
And she was at ringside for the tag match. Did you see her one time?
Oh, I didn't even know she was there.
She was at ringside.
That is madness.
Yeah.
This Balor thing was a show-long storyline that built off an angle they had done last week, which was building off an angle they'd done 2 weeks ago. Like, this is part of a series of things that have led us to this point. So I don't think it is fair compared to the Ivy Nile thing, though I kind of get the point you're trying to make.
And I do think Ivy Nile deserves better.
Captain Nick, I haven't watched WWE programming live since their deal with ESPN. When I heard that Punk and Styles were going to be the main event of the show, especially after this past Saturday, seeing clips of the Shinsuke match, I tuned in and what to expect it to be a great match with a finish. I guess it's my fault for expecting both, especially for a Raw main event. I love Balor, of course I do, but the beatdown could have easily happened after the bell and had the same effect. We know we're never going to see Punk and Styles again. Let them finish the match.
This is what makes me think we might.
I don't know, man.
I don't know where. I don't know, and we'll talk about it. But I saw this coming a mile off.
Yeah.
As a result.
See, I didn't, and I'm usually that guy that sees the DQ finishes coming, but I did not see this one happening. Natalie says, I can't see a satisfying way where AJ does not retire. DQ would feel like a letdown. Gunther losing clean halts all momentum. Gunther cheating to win would be lose-lose. I feel like there's no other way. I think his world championship run will be in TNA. Okay, I'm going to go on record and say now, if AJ Styles finishes up his run in TNA, that is a disservice to the career of AJ Styles. It is a lovely little bit of nostalgia. It's a lovely little bit of member berries, but I think that AJ deserves a bigger platform to end than in TNA.
Mr. TNA over here.
Yeah, Mr. TNA from 2005. Yeah, and I love that company and I adore them. And I've got a little bit of a bee in my bonnet about TNA trying to pretend that AJ Styles was the face of the company when they actively worked against him being the face of the company for so many years. Yeah. They would not push AJ Styles into the main event picture because they had a bunch of like washed up WWE guys taking spots. So yeah, I've got a little bit of being like, AJ Styles was always the face of this company. Gosh, no, he wasn't. But you can rewrite history to say that he was. Mike Wolf here says, WWE has their issues and we all know what TKO has done with ticket prices, but 17 people were here at Raw tonight. That's a WWE number. Not
17 people?
17,000 people. Okay. That's not a WWE number. 17,000 people, which is apparently it was like 15,500, which is still like an insane number. That is impressive. Great episode tonight. WWE is hot again and right time for WrestleMania season. Yeah,
it's a great way to kick it off. That's what I mean by this month being a really solid one. And they needed it to be, I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you should be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
I will say, if you're going to fire on all cylinders in January, do that in August as well. Yeah, do it in October. Do it in November. Do it in December.
You can't. The thing is, you're going to have a hot streak, and then you'll have moments where that hot streak is a little bit more tepid. But like, I think there's something about the urgency and the creativity and the trying and going, let's see what happens when we do this, and not sticking rigidly to your long plan. And why not try this? Why not try that? I think that makes a big difference.
My thing more is it is the sense of urgency thing. I think there is also a little bit of a vibe within WWE that viewership drops off after WrestleMania through to the Royal Rumble. Yeah. So let's not put any of our good stuff on here. Which and that also happened in the Vince era as well. That is not exclusive
no one
to
does
the
a big
Triple H
pay-per-view
era.
in September.
That is just a system of WWE for the past 20 plus years.
Yeah.
But then that kind of punishes us as fans.
Well, my answer to that is we'll do something then.
That's my argument. Yeah. Like, that's what I would say as well. Like, I think you should be putting this in all year round, as opposed to just relying on this idea that, like, well, half the audience isn't going to watch between now and now, so let's just not really put all our good stuff here.
Yeah.
And our last comment comes in from Real Double J. Don't forget, guys, Podcast Dad is back next week. This is our last week of the lads staying up late night giggling with tangents and analogies or TMI Jeans stories.
Would you say all the fun is being sucked out of the podcast? Not me. Not I.
I don't know how much bickering there would have been in that earlier segment if it was me and somebody else.
Yeah.
Which is why it's lovely having you here, Dan.
Yes. Someone to hold you accountable. Someone to remind you of you're a child. Finn Balor for president!
Don't you remember 10 years ago? Force Awakens? Remember the excitement for that?
Wasn't it much? But hey, 2016 nostalgia. It's back.
Well, it's 10 years ago. That's why 10 years ago. It's a decade ago.
SummerSlam 2026. Where were you in SummerSlam 2016? I know where I was, lifting a belt. Did you see? Just see the vision.
What was happening in 2016?
Finn Balor won the Universal title.
Oh, right. Sorry, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Sorry, because
you're not on the websites. The 2016 nostalgia. Everyone's been like, here's where I was in 2016.
Oh,
yeah. So that's.
Is it a big nostalgia thing at the moment?
Yeah, people love it. I don't know why. It was an awful year.
Yeah, it was when the world fell apart.
Yes, yeah. It was very bad, no good.
Oh yeah. It was like I'd be nostalgic for 2015.
That was a good time.
That was our last good year.
There was one good thing in 2016. Pokemon Go Summer. That was fun.
Yeah. What else was good in 2016? Captain America: Civil War.
Music was quite good in 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of good albums then.
My
Skin.
I really enjoyed the disappointment we all had for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Which I think was
I
2016.
had a lovely flat.
Yeah, I'd finally moved to London in 2016.
Right,
so we bought our house in December 2015, November 2015, because we then went to New York for a bit for my 30th birthday, and then I came back, I flew back. And this is not 2016 nostalgia. It's still It's late 2015. We flew back and we landed, and on that same day I landed, I went to the press screening of The Force Awakens.
Wow.
2 weeks before the film had come out, or was set to come out for public release. And my wife was jet lagged, and she fell asleep on the sofa, and I was just wired, looking at my watch, counting down the hours for when I could go. And in the end, even though I had like 4 to 5 hours before like doors opened for the press screening, I was like, I'm just gonna go now. I'm just going to go now. And I went down there, and I was like, there was me and about sort of like 5 other people who were like, yeah, I couldn't wait either. I was too excited. And it was all the guys from Empire.
Yeah, it's always the guys from Empire.
It's like me.
I knew exactly who it was before you said it.
It's like, Chris Hewitt's there and everything, being like, I was just too excited.
Yeah.
Because Chris Hewitt wanted to get in and get the good spots.
The good seats. Yeah, the Empire people sit in the same place. I love it for them.
Yeah. And we went in, because obviously I was like just behind them, so I got a great seat within there. It was in the Empire. Yeah, it was in the Empire, and so I got
Cineworld.
I got a great seat for it, and then they accidentally started playing the film. But while everyone was still like filing in and stuff, they accidentally just started like playing it.
That's wild.
And they had like the long time ago, and it came up on screen, and Chris Hewitt freaked out because not everyone was sat in their seats.
That's wild. That's wild.
And then I was like, man, could you imagine?
Yeah.
They just started playing this movie now while people are filing in to get their seats.
Right.
It would have been a right scramble.
Anyway, bring back the good bits of 2016, including Finn Balor in the world title. See.
And getting injured in the same match. Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure having you fill in for the WrestleTalk podcast while Ollie has been away.
Substitute teacher.
We've got one more episode with you because that will be the Royal Rumble predictions that goes up this week. There's no.
And then I'll be back in the moth cupboard until you need me again.
dust off Dan again. There'll be no episode this coming Friday because Ollie and I will be here on Sunday. If you're asking the question, why are you doing an episode on Friday? Well, because the YouTube algorithm sucks, and the second the Royal Rumble starts, no one will be watching any wrestling content on YouTube, which means that YouTube will just not push out that podcast, which means no one will see that podcast.
Time marches relentlessly onwards.
It really does. And anything that we talk about will just become irrelevant by the time we get to the Rumble anyway. So we're going to be doing the Royal Rumble review this coming Sunday here on the WrestleTalk podcast. And then it's business as usual as we get after that, as we get really further down the M4 as we are on the road to WrestleMania. It's the best motorway in the country.
I don't know. I'm a M6 boy.
It's too long.
The M6 toll. Oh.
No, I was go around the toll. I haven't got time for the toll.
The toll, the freedom of the toll. Anyway, it's
not free though, is it?
That's true.
It's the paydom of the toll. That's why I always go around the toll. It's too bloody long, the M6. The amount of times I'm driving up to Scam, and it's just like, how many bloody exits has this thing got? Do you want anything more?
No.
Nope.
For once, I'm willing to finish.
Well, I'm just concerned. We've only gone for an hour and 10. I think people are going to be disappointed in us.
Look, I'm trying to be a good boy this week.
Thank you so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow here on the WrestleTalk podcast as we're going to go through our Royal Rumble 2026 predictions. Subscribe, leave a comment, all that good jazz. We will see you then. Take care. I love you. Goodbye.